Okay, we are live, and we've moved corner because we've moved to the corner. Just fancied a bit of a change of scenery, really.
That's not why at all.
Why was it?
I mean, that's high, wasn't it?
Why at all?
That thing sticks in your ribs.
Yeah, that's true as well. The side of the bar, when for 2 hours when you lean on it, it tends to sort of really get into the rib cage. But it's because it's, I don't know, because it's like a specific height with the stool. It goes in between the ribs, and I think it's separating them. Because I farted the other day and one of my lungs came out of my rib cage.
That didn't happen.
Just a little bit, like a lung hernia.
So 2 weeks since the last one.
It's been ages. It has been 2 weeks.
This is number 22, isn't it?
Yeah, so apologise for that. But the reason being for why is that Wynne didn't line up anybody to do one with on his own. And I had to be in the workshop because I was doing the tarmac groundworks, which I think the video went out on Friday. So
I have actually lined somebody up. But
but not for last.
They couldn't come, no.
Oh, okay. Were they still in America?
No, still in Pembrokeshire.
Oh, right, okay, fair dues.
But that's going to happen. Sorry, I'm just lining up some questions. How was Rustival?
Yeah, it was good. It was all right. Yeah, it was just a phenomenal sort of little festival, really. I mean, I say little, it was massive. A few, big things about it. One was like, there's a lot of people that like enjoy what I'm doing, which is mad. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people, and they all wanted to come up and say hello, and they were all really nice, really, really nice. Someone gave me a pin badge of an F-250. Someone knitted me a hat.
No.
Yeah, and there was some of the stories I heard of people were just insane, and I struggled to get my head around it a little bit, really, because they're like the one that gave me the woolly hat was that their baby was born prematurely.
Yeah.
And when they were all trying to sleep and stuff and settle everyone down, they put my videos on.
What, to send them to sleep?
Which it is a backhanded compliment. Yeah, it's slightly backhanded compliment. But yeah, so they did that, and then
cool.
obviously it sort of got them through, and then the baby was probably a couple of years old, and apparently when I got on the stage and they were talking, the baby recognised my voice and stuff.
Really,
and,
that's very cool.
So I'm the baby's new dad.
Yeah.
So pushed the other dad out.
Yeah.
I'm the baby's new dad now, so that's good.
That's fair enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
You are probably better than the real dad.
He was ace. He was very, very sound. And they were brilliant. Just what an amazing couple. Just like an amazing couple. She made me a hat like I was just absolutely amazing. I gave him one of the Tasty Classics caps in return.
Cool. I see you wearing the hat she kindly made for you.
Yeah, I've just realised she made me a hat and I gave him a hat. It's not.
Yeah, that's
slightly misogynistic, right. Wasn't it, of me to do that?
Yeah, rude that.
Yeah, I hope that she didn't take offence by that because she made all the effort and her husband did fuck all and got rewarded.
Yeah, it's a cruel life.
Yeah, very cool.
So, I don't know much about this festival. I know you probably are sick of it because you were there all day.
I mean, it'd be nice if we could just talk about planes in this episode. I've yesterday, I was going to come here last night with all you lot. Alex was messaging me just like being, come on, get down, but I couldn't move, couldn't speak. So I got there at 6:30, setting up, and immediately there was people coming over and talking to me, like immediately. And I just like it was tough, and that was all the way through till 4, and then I had to get the truck and trailer back. Which we can talk about the truck and trailer, and we can talk about the Passat as well, because my mum's fucked the Passat. Like
what? What's she done?
I don't know. She's got like such a talent of like destroying cars. Like it's just dead weight. She's always done it, and it's so frustrating because the Renault that she had, the Scenic.
Yeah.
We sold that to a guy in Poland, exported it over to Poland, where they don't have MOTs and things, or as strict, I don't know what they have, but anyway, so they were going to just tear it to pieces and carry on driving it around. And then, I thought, I'll give her the Passat, because it's an automatic. She can only drive automatic, so I'll give her the Passat, because it's a very reliable car.
Yeah.
I've had it for 6 months or so.
Bomb-proof.
bomb-proof, absolutely. And I've driven everywhere in it, done tons of miles, bomb-proof. She had it maybe 6 weeks ago, less than that, maybe 4 weeks ago. It's gone into limp home mode with exactly the same fault as the Scenic. And I can't believe it. I don't know how she's managed it. It's just like she never ever goes over 1500 RPM. 1500 RPM is, she thinks she's driving an Arctic. Do you know what I mean? It's like 1500 RPM is the max, like. And yeah, it just clogs it up to death, like, and she's fucked it already.
Coked up.
So I think it's DPF.
Carl, not your mum.
Yeah. Those days are past her, she tells me. But yeah, so that, completely fucked, like, and it's such a shame because it was such a good car, but it's too battered to sort of really spend any money on, and it's just like, oh my God, it's done 200,000 miles. Am I really going to start putting DPFs on it, doing mad shit like that now and doing things? So I don't, because she'll only fuck it again if I do it, you know, because that's what happened to the Scenic last year. Got the DPF clean and everything last year, and within 6 months of the MOT, it was absolutely fine, and she'd fucked it again, like. I just couldn't believe it. Oh God, we said we weren't going to swear at the start of this episode, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, you had a stupid idea.
I think that's a brilliant idea, because that would have stopped me. That would have stopped me. Yeah. The idea of putting an elastic band on the forehead, and every time one of us swears, we have to. Should we do it? Have we got some elastic band? Okay.
No. Right. So, last bit about only because I missed it because I had to work.
Yeah.
But so it went well. It went as well as you'd expect, or better, or
better. I just couldn't believe how good it was, how well organised it was. They all did an amazing job. Everybody did an amazing job, and all the people that came were amazing. I met a guy who listens to the podcast called Oscar Survey. I don't remember his real name, but Oscar Survey is what he is in the comments, and he. Bought us a couple of Baby Bells because you were having a whinge about the Kinder Egg chocolate giving you diabetes. But I was like, I got the Baby Bells. I was like, I kind of get it. Because you got it. It's like a thing inside the shell.
Slightly more healthy, but
yeah.
No toy.
No toy. And he said, give that to Wynne. And I was like, yeah, well, because I hadn't.
Where's that?
Because I hadn't eaten all day. Like, cause literally, as soon as he turned his back, I fucking scrammed both of them. No, I think those Baby Bells kept me going actually for the entire day. I didn't have a chance to stop the entire day. It was just constant.
Surely the main thing was you were one of the guest speakers on the stage.
Yeah.
Was that nerve-wracking, or was it just like this?
It was more nerve-wracking than this, because if I don't like anything on this, I can just delete it. Do you know what I mean? And nobody has to see it. But you can't press pause, rewind, record again when you're up there in front of people, and it's hard to get out of that mindset, because his first question was like something like, and I hate, it's the worst, and I've been asked this question so many times. So what is your YouTube channel about? And it's like, well, fucking hell, I mean...
But it's obvious.
Yeah, it's obvious, and it's like, how do you explain it to someone who's like... It's just like, you've got to... It's just, I get... And it's so easy to say. It's just like, I get old cars that don't run, and I make them run. And that is pretty much it. Like, and trying to sort of jazz that up into like this sort of epic description of this YouTube channel. Because I think the YouTube channel is really cool.
It is cool.
But it's like to sort of be able to... And like, that's the first thing he asked me. I wasn't expecting it, because I thought we were talking about something completely fucking different. And he goes, oh, and I was like, and then the first few words was a little bit rubbish, because I was just like, it's just, I take rubbish cars and I make them less rubbish.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, okay. I'm sure it's better than that. And I was like, well, it is better than that. Get some better questions. But then he did ask some better questions.
Who else was on the stage with you?
So Kev T, and El, I can't remember. Oh, he's got a really weird, funny name, but it's UK Barn Finds.
Okay.
Begins with an EL something. I can't remember his name.
Elmo.
Elmo. So they were both up there with me. We were talking about end of life cars, which is just a fantastic subject, really, because all the Rustivals, for me, a car show that I prefer because of the types of cars that are there. So, like, if you take as an example, you know, the one, the sort of big classic car show by Lim, by Cheshire Classic Car Show. What's it called? That's held in that big grounds. I can't remember. What it's
No
called.
idea.
Anyway, big classic car show that's quite a renowned one, and they do the ones at Alton Park and stuff as well.
I've been to that one.
Yeah.
The American car show. Been to that one at Alton.
Yeah, and there's an American car show one in near Lim as well. I can't remember.
Okay.
God, you'll know it straight away, but I can't remember the name of the place. Anyway, so they give out like clubs spaces. So, for example, the Chrysler PT Cruiser Club can have a stand, not a stand, but an area to display the cars. And then you've got the Mercedes Owners Clubs.
Okay.
So it's like 4 really nice Mercedes and then 30 fat old blokes in SLKs.
Yeah.
And the SLKs could be like anything from like brand new to about 6 years old. And it's like, right, great. And there's like 30 of them and you're like, what the fuck? It's really shit. Same with like the Jaguar Owners Club. You've got about 9 Jaguars that are amazing and the rest of them are just like XJK, XKRs and stuff like that. Or X, you know the ones I mean, little coupe things. The ones that they're, pick one up for $1,000 on Facebook. There's about 900 of them about and they're all rusty. So yeah, it's just one of those things. So you don't see in those other car shows, you don't see a lot of variety because it's car clubs. And like it was the same, when it's car clubs are weird. I mean, they're great. I'm in the Panhard Owners Club, and that's fantastic because of the resource for spares and stuff. But at a car show, I wouldn't want to have my car next to an immaculate Panhard because do you know what I mean? It's weird. It's like why does it sort of takes it away from my Panhard a little bit? I don't know. So it's a strange balance. I think I'm not sure. But the at Rustival, there's none of that. So they have like 4 areas and they're all named after like the one's called Vandenplas and the other's Mayfair and stuff like
cool.
that, Mini Mayfair and things.
Yeah.
Really cool. So they you just buy a parking space because it's all around the British Motor Museum. So it's all in their car park. So your ticket is that you're buying a parking space and you can turn up in anything you want. And because of that, because the ticket spaces are all allocated everywhere, there's no groups together of cars, so you don't get bored when you're walking around. Because like one of the worst ones was that Tatton Park was the car show I was on about. Tatton Park.
I know what you mean.
The Tatton Park show, there was a mini owners club, and it took over honestly one of the entire rows. And I remember walking past it, and there was about 5 classic minis, and the rest of them were just like modern minis, like the BMW minis.
That could be just an NCP car park.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Outside a Taylor Swift concert.
That's bizarre.
Totally bizarre. And there was honestly, must have been 30 of them there. And I get it. It's cool. People love the cars, and there's nothing wrong with displaying them. But fucking hell, I do find that a little bit boring. Like, do you know what I mean?
Do you get people? When you're driving one of your cars and somebody comes the other way in a similar car, do they flash their lights or wave at you?
It's an MX-5 thing, yeah.
Is it?
MX-5 thing, headlights, all that, really good. So you do that to everybody apart from Mark IV, because nobody likes Mark IVs.
Okay.
But every other MX-5, great.
Because bikers always nod to each other as well, don't they?
Yeah. And I've noticed, because I've been jogging as well, running.
Yes.
Not all of them, but some. I don't know if you get this. That some runners give you the nod as well.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I'm one of them yet, though, and it's like weird.
You absolutely are.
But when they're and they're like, and I'm like, fuck off. But yeah, so the Rustival, I just thought, to walk around, there was constant moments of wow, because every car was different, and some of them were amazing. Just daft little things, like I saw a Bedford Astra van, or anyway, Bedford Astra van, Peugeot 205 van, both immaculate with old sign writing on them and stuff. I was like, oh my God, it's so good. So yeah, really, really nice things. Yeah,
good. No, it went well, didn't it?
Did go well. And so Mum's sat, limp home mode on the way back, nightmare. So I'm going to have to try and find another car. Petrol, small engined. I want like I'm going to have to, I was talking about getting Bentley and the Porsche and that.
Yeah.
I might have to be selfless and buy a new car.
Oh,
but
right.
not like a new one, like £6,000, £7,000,
Well,
something
you've
like
got
that.
15 cars, just give her one of those.
Yeah, but she can only drive an automatic. She's learned to drive in America.
Yeah.
And she's just never got her head around a manual, which is so annoying. So all the cars she's had in the past have just broken because they're just, I don't know, nightmare. But so I'm thinking of getting like a Renault Kadjar 1.5 petrol automatic or something, and just being like, look, there you go, Mum, thanks for it. Because she does give me a lot of help. Like she was doing the
Yeah.
stall at Rustival, and without her, the day just wouldn't have happened for me at
Yeah.
all, you know. She made us a lot of money off the merch, so I think it's potentially time to... Because I've bought a couple of cool projects recently, haven't I? So I'm like, maybe just let's pie off the supercar idea for a little bit. I'll get my mum something a bit more reliable.
You're a good son, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a good son, yeah. But she's a very good mum. She's done well.
Because just up the road from where you were yesterday was Johnny Car Pervert was in the classic car auction.
Oh yeah.
Because that's Warwick, isn't it?
We should go to that.
Yeah.
We should go to a classic car.
Love
when
to
I've
do
got
that.
a bit of cash burn in a hole in my
do
pocket,
that.
and just have a look round.
Because he found he thought there was a black 911 there, and he thought that would go for about 10 grand. And he said, if it goes for 10 grand, I'm going to have it.
Yeah.
But there were some lovely cars in there.
What were
Some
the
like-
prices like? Did you get? I've not had a chance to look
haven't
at.
seen, not so much the prices, but he was looking round, and there were 150 cars there.
Wow.
And there was a Clio V6
Yeah.
Cup car there.
Amazing.
That's cool.
Really
I didn't
cool.
realise there were two seaters. There's just a cover behind the seats
yeah.
where the engine goes. This massive engine.
So cool.
That was cool.
Amazing.
Hadn't really
Imagine the noise of the thing when
know.
you're driving along.
really cool.
Really, really good.
Yes.
I did see a clip of him on TikTok at the things, and he looked at was looking at a Proton Satria GTI, which I'm desperate for the collection. Like
Okay.
I need one of those. And he was looking, need one. I do desperate. I've had one before in the past, and it was such a wicked car. But that was back when they were worth like 800 quid. And now I'm telling you now, and I reckon I've missed the boat like on these things, because they're just, you can't buy them now, and when you can, people are starting to ask silly money for them, and it won't be long until they're 10 grand, 15 grand cars.
Really?
Yeah. And they were 1,500 quid not that long ago. Yeah. But I just never bought them, but definitely missed the boat on them.
What's going on with 911s then? Because they're going in the other direction, aren't they?
But yeah, everybody wants one. I want one.
Yeah.
And they're annoying, because I said I wanted the red manual convertible.
Yeah.
So, speaking to mate in here, and we were talking about the fact that there isn't any out there, because all Porsches are like greys and silvers and blacks. And he said, yeah, just any colour on a Porsche. So like, any sort of non-grey, silver or black. Just mega money, because like they just never sold any new. Nobody wanted a dog dick red one, They all wanted silver ones when they were brand new.
Okay.
And now you can't get one. So the convertibles that I've been looking at, 35 grand. And the same car in a silver is 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd probably go for
15
silver.
grand for a colour.
Yeah. You can change the colour.
Again, it's another thing I've been thinking. Why not buy one that maybe needs a bit of work, and I'll paint it. Like if it's find one that's had some bodywork issues or something, and I could potentially paint it. But I don't know. We'll see.
All these things are possible.
All these things are possible once I've bought my mum a fucking 07 plateness Renault Kadjar or whatever it is. I don't even know what they're
Get
called.
a Qashqai.
Fuck no. Fuck no. When I was searching for automatic cars last night on eBay, they were popping up, the Qashqais and stuff.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah, I don't want one at all. But yes, a truck. Amazing. So, like, fucking hauling ass, in that thing. Had all the gear in the back, tables, chairs, all the merch, loads of stuff. Trailer behind it, Vitesse on the trailer. You couldn't even tell. You just couldn't even tell. It was just flying out. It's so on the way home, because I was driving it nicely, because I was a bit like, I just hope it makes it okay.
Yeah.
But as I was getting closer to home, on the way back, I was like, fuck this.
I can get an Uber from here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was like, I'm going to see how fast this goes with the trailer behind me, like. And I remember there was we had the two cars in front of me, and there was a Mercedes Sprinter van behind me. And like, we got onto one of the sections by Stoke-on-Trent where it goes into a dual carriageway, and he was like flying up behind me like he was going to overtake. Foot down, and it just watched this sprinter van just like disappear, and all these other vehicles. Every time I could see some flying, I was like, no, let's. At one point, I was doing like 80 in this truck, like
with the car,
with the car and the trailer, and I'm doing this on the steering wheel, shitting myself because you got the corrections just to keep the thing going straight. I'm like, oh fuck, and then I'm like, right, back off. God, amazing. About 8 to the gallon.
Yeah.
About 150 quid in fuel to get to Warwick and back.
Well worth it.
Well worth it.
So is there a lot of slack?
And I did, as I pulled into the workshop, I was just like, I wonder if it'll do, because when the trailer's on, there's a lot of weight over the rear axle.
Yeah.
Just like, will it do a burnout?
Yeah.
It will do a burnout. It will do a burnout.
Turns out
it will do a burnout. So, yeah, amazing.
That is really cool, actually.
Anyway, can we talk about planes?
Well, somebody asked me, was it in here? Talked about.
I'm going to go and get a beer, do you want one?
Yeah, please. Dakota, please.
I'm going to keep my microphone on there while I go and get it.
That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
The. So last.
Oh, do you want just one that can?
Yeah, please. Last night, somebody was asking me about, like, did you have to do like army type, military type stuff? And we didn't really, which I'm very pleased about. I'm not that sort of guy. But we did do survival training things, and there was a lot of like pre-flying training that you had to do, and got into it. And some of that's quite interesting. There was. So there was. Have we talked about when we had to do that survival exercise and you weren't allowed any food?
What?
So it's like a week-long thing, and they just give you like the minimal sort of like food.
Right.
And what they did was you'd have long johns or t-shirt and all that sort of stuff, and then you put cold weather gear on the top.
Is this in North Wales?
Yeah. And so before you go, they would strip you down to your long johns to make sure you had no food, to make sure it was authentic.
Fuck,
and I was having to think about this, and I was talking to the previous course, and they go, you said you can't bring any food because they actually, you're all standing and you get patted down before you go.
Bloody hell.
And I thought, I think I can get around this.
Twix up the arse.
Just do that anyway. So what I got was vacuum packed ham. Took it out of the vacuum packed ham, put it in cling film, and I had it like sellotaped like all around my legs.
Wow.
And around my front and back.
Wow.
Also, I cut the lining of my cold weather jacket, and I got 4 Mars bars and ironed them flat in the packet.
Yeah.
And then formed them like one above and one below around my wrist.
Wow.
So you could just stand there like that, but you had 4, you're just standing there and it looked fine. And they say, right, take your cold weather jacket off, and it's sort of like, put that over there, and like I was thinking, I hope it just doesn't go. Why is it so heavy? Yeah. But all that. So I went on this. We had to share a bivouac, which is like a tent you make out of a parachute.
Right.
And me and my mate Twiggy, he did the same, and we like got away with it. Got there, it's like, mate, this is just going to be not a big deal.
So what was the MO? What did you have to actually do? No food, doing what?
Well, so you had to do it like an escape and evasion exercise in the Welsh Hills,
right?
Where you had to move from one to the other. Then it's as if the idea is that you've ejected into enemy territory.
Yeah.
So first of all, you have to do a thing where you hide. Basically, they get, it's quite scary actually. They get like police dogs or search and rescue dogs or just people with dogs to come and look for you, and you can hear, and it's night and it's raining and it's horrible, and you can hear these dogs like barking.
Shit.
And you've dug yourself a hole and covered in leaves, and you hope you're not found, but you're always found because they're dogs, aren't they? So that's the first thing that you find out, is like you will be found probably, and then the second night you have to get a parrot. They give you the parachute.
That must be fucking. It sets you right up for what could happen, though, doesn't it? You know what I mean?
I know, it's scary as well, because you can hear these dogs coming, and there's something about like, and you know that they're on the end of a sort of lead, or they're being controlled.
Yeah.
But you go, what if it actually, what if you can't control it and bites my face off? But it's fine. That was all fine. But then the second night that you have to build a a shelter out of parachute.
Okay.
And the first night I did it, you have to have a big air gap. So you put like one loop around, then you have to have sort of a big branch and a lot of air gap, and then a second loop around. I did it very, very badly the first night. And as soon as the two bits of parachute touch, it's like it's not there. It's the rain comes straight through. I have never.
Oh wow! Right, okay.
It started raining like 2 a.m.
So the idea is that it comes through one bit, but then can't quite get.
But it doesn't get
runs
to the
off the other
second
bit.
one.
Right, got you.
I tell you what, you do it right the next night, because it felt like
hell.
4.5 years of just lying, shaking, shivering, and going, I'm going to die.
What time of year is this?
When did we
July.
do ours? No, I can't remember. February, March, something like that.
Wow, really? Bloody hell.
So the next night, get that sorted out. But what they do, because everybody's starting to get hungry, they sort of do things like, right, first people to get a fire going, then we'll give you a cheese roll or something like that.
Wow.
But me and my mate, it's like, nah, you're all right, mate.
Because you've got fucking ham and
Mars bars.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was really fun.
Could someone else do the fire? Yeah. Do you mind? Is that okay? Anyway, backgammon.
So that was cool. But what we couldn't get over is there's 2 Qatari guys on our course. And
Qatari?
Yeah,
from Qatar?
From Qatar.
Oh, wow.
And they were great, actually. They were really good because, I won't go into any more of that. But some of the nations that trained with us were a bit rubbish. But the Qataris were great.
Who were the worst?
The Saudis.
Really?
Yeah. As in, just very arrogant, but also like didn't really care. They had this like air of like, not bothered.
Because they probably don't have to worry about like February and mud and leaves and stuff.
Exactly.
And, all that sort of stuff in Saudi Arabia.
So that's the point. So they didn't do this thing. It's called Hawkeye. The exercise is called Hawkeye.
Right.
And some of the nations didn't do it, but the Qataris were very pleased to say that they did the survival exercise bit. And but what we couldn't work out is like get up in the morning and everything was piss wet through. Everything's wet all the time. All the wood's wet. So trying to get a fire going was a nightmare, and you do need a fire.
Yeah.
And you look across and this Qatari guy always had a fire going. It's like, what? How? What? It's like, they're the least well adapted to this.
Yeah.
So we decided like get up a bit early and watch them, and they'd been down to some farm or somewhere, and they had a milk bottle of petrol.
Wow!
And it's like they're like this, they're like looking around, and they sort of pour it on, put it back in the sort of hollow tree thing, stand back and go, poof, got a massive fire going. It's like, right, see what you're doing, very good.
Improvise, adapt and overcome.
Like it. Yeah, so that was very good, like that. But they also, various courses, like there's all these horror stories about, just being given a big sack of live rabbits. There goes, boys, that's your food, sort that out. And another course got chickens. We got a plastic bin full of live trout, which they just tipped out on the floor, which was bizarre. So you just go, really? I don't really care about fish. I'll soon kill.
I've got a ham in my legs anyway.
Oh no, not for me.
Did you have to smack the trout over the head?
Yeah, and then cook it over the shower. So that's a really weird thing as well. One of the Qataris got his fish, and he just diced it with his knife until it was just like this mush. And it's like, what are you going to do now, mate? It's like...
With skin, fins, eyes, bones?
Everything. Just chopped it up into tiny little cubes. And it's like, well, everybody's standing there with their like fish on a stick over the fire. And it's like, what are you going to do with that? And he's going, fucking
hell, he's going to be hungry.
What were you going to make?
Was the fish okay?
So that
Did you just put it back in the liver afterwards?
Yeah, so that was that. So that was not much of an ordeal. It was fine.
Fucking hell, that's rough, isn't it? I remember when I was a I'm not into fishing. It's just never been a fishing guy. Like, and I think part of it comes down to when I lived in when I was younger. I must have been about 11 or 12 or something. Was fishing off the end of the pier. I remember catfish.
Yeah.
You know, big, really like sandpaper skin on them.
Yeah.
Really difficult.
Like dogfish.
Was it dogfish on
Dogfish.
Sorry, dogfish. Yeah. Like, like
little sharks.
Little sharks, but like sandpaper on the bottom.
Yeah.
Fucking horrible fucking things. We caught like a couple of those, and it was like something was over. He was like, "You're gonna have to kill it." And I was like, I don't know if I was like being put through the fucking ringer or something, but I was like, how do you fucking kill a fish? Like, where's his neck? He's like, right, okay. And so you've just got to hit it over the head as hard as you can. That's how you get. And I was
with
like,
a priest. They call a priest, don't they? The little thing that fishermen carry around.
Okay.
It's like a little brass. It looks like it's got a wooden handle and like a lump of brass on the end. It goes dink.
Oh,
I think it's called a priest. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, go on.
Bearing in mind, I've never been fishing before and I'm 11 years old.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have that level of equipment on me
Yeah.
or that knowledge. So they were like, you've got to kill the fish now. So I was like, how the fuck are you going to just hit it over the head as hard as you can? So like, where we were fishing off the pier in Gladden, it was like down, it wasn't on the pier, it was like there's levels below the pier, right at the back, like close to where ships used to come and people used to get on. You climb down there and then you just climb down to further levels, and that's where you'd sit and fish off because you could smoke cigs and drink beer and nobody would disturb you. It's great. But anyway, so they were like, right, you got to, and I was like, fucking hell, you know, the bigger boys are telling me to do this, I've got to do it. And I remember there's railings, bars, and I remember like hitting the fish over the railings, like.
Oh, what, holding it by the tail?
Holding it by the tail, and like it was really hard. And it was just like I wasn't doing it hard enough to kill it. I was just like fucking
just pissing it off.
Just really making this fish sad, like, you know? Just bang, and they were all like, ooh,
yeah, that's not done it.
yeah. And I was like, no, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Bang, ooh, oh, fucking hell. And then I remember it was just bleeding, like there was blood everywhere.
What a horrible way to go.
Horrible way to go.
Drawn out, torturous way to go.
Awful. And then one of the older lads got it and fucking whacked it, like. But I just didn't know how. I couldn't do it, like. You know, I was only 11 years old. I was like, fucking hell, this is rough, isn't it? And then I haven't been fishing since. Like, I was just not funny enough.
Because of that bit.
Yeah, just not that bothered by it. You know, it doesn't really turn me on. Not something I would enjoy.
So my dad was a gamekeeper, and he was just incredible at like dispatching various animals. It was incredible. Like he'd be talking to you, and he'd pick a rabbit from out of a trap, or you know, one, and he'd just like crunch, and it was gone. And he'd done it so many times it wasn't even a thing.
Bloody hell.
And I was always quite a bit in awe of that.
Yeah.
He could do that to me, probably.
Yeah.
But this
Probably thinks about it.
So the survival thing, the other training thing that I was talking about to these guys was on helicopters. You have to do a thing called Hewitt training, which is helicopter underwater escape training. That
helicopter underwater. Oh shit! Right. Okay.
It's a rig that they have down at Yeovilton, Royal Naval Air Station, Yeovilton, and it's you go into this what looks like a big swimming pool.
Right.
And there's a thing that looks like the front half of a Merlin helicopter.
Wow. Right. Okay.
On a big hydraulic arm over the swimming pool.
Okay.
So
fuck.
I know.
Like...
honestly, some people were traumatized by this, and you had to do it every 2 years. People, you know, claimed they were, you know, had a tumor or something, couldn't go and do anything to get out of it.
Absolutely.
And so you strap into the seats. So there's two front pilot seats, and then there's loads of like passenger seats in the back.
Right.
You're strapped in, and they submerge it, and they say, well, take your last breath just as the water touches your chin.
So it's not going fast in. It's like sinking.
Well, yeah.
So it's not just like boof.
Well, there's an initial bump when it hits the water, and then then the water floods in.
Right. Okay. So it's got doors?
Yeah.
So it's not just open-sided?
No. It's got doors
right, okay.
and window holes.
Shit. So it's proper. So you're in a vessel that's filling up?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you wait, and you have to wait until all movement stops, because you would anyway. So when a helicopter hits the water, you have to wait till all movement stops, because there's like
spinning
big
metal
spinny
objects.
wings going around, and then that can spoil your day.
Turns
So you have to
into a
wait
soup.
till everything stops. Then you undo your seatbelt, and you get out, your safety harness, and then you get out.
Wow, okay.
But you should see people's eyes, because you'll be sitting across from somebody, and you're watching the water go up, and their eyes are like dinner plates, and they're going...
Oh, God, no, it's rough.
And it goes over your head.
So have you unbuckled at this point?
Well, you wait until like all movement stops, so the stops, and then you unbuckle. I've seen the square windows are big enough for one person to fit through. I've seen two big blokes go through that at the same time.
Wow.
How they got through, I don't know, but just through sheer panic. So there's that.
So how do you get out?
So through any hole you can get. So what you do is...
So are they holes or are they windows?
Well, they're windows.
And you've got to break the windows?
No, there's no glass in them.
So, right, okay.
So in the real case, there's like a rip cord that goes round the seal on every helicopter window. So what you do, you pull it and just like push it with your elbow, and it just pops out.
Oh, cool.
So that's fine.
Right, okay, that's cool.
So that's the first one. It goes straight down, and it's light. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
The second one, it goes down, but as it's going down, it rolls upside down. That is so disorientating.
Oh,
so you have to
God.
keep your hand towards your nearest exit, and so as you roll upside down, what happens is if you just don't have anything, your hands are just on your harness, for example, you don't know which way to go, and you've only gone from the right way up to the wrong way up, but it's so disorientating.
Bloody hell.
So you have to have.
Is it light in the pool or is it dark in the pool?
Well, this is what I'm coming on to. So you go straight down in the light. You go.
So can you the details are important here. What gear are you wearing?
Just a normal flying suit.
So can you see so as the water goes over you, eyes closed?
Well, yeah, you can, it's up to you, isn't it? Really, I guess. But you need your eyes open. It's all a bit blurry, isn't it? You haven't got goggles or anything. So the first one goes straight down. Yeah. The second one goes, as soon as it hits the water, the whole shebang rolls upside down, and you have to undo your harness, keeping your orientation arm or hand towards the exit, and then pull yourself to the exit and get out. The next one goes, all the lights go off, and it goes straight down in the dark, and now you're trying to find this hole in the side to get out through.
Wow.
And then they also do one that in the dark it hits the water and it rolls upside down as well in the dark.
And is it cold water?
No, it's not. It's swimming pool water.
Right.
So,
okay. Yeah.
But you can imagine in the North Atlantic or something like that.
Good God.
I know. Well, there was a horrible accident where. Wessex, I was the station flight safety officer at RF Valley, and a Wessex doing a flight in the mountains, a training flight, and it had 3 Air Training Corps cadets on board. Right. And they had a tail rotor failure. The coupling to the tail rotor had filled with grease. And what happened was it jumped a spline, if you like, because the packed grease, a bit of torque sort of like pulled it out a little bit. It jumped the teeth, and as it shock loaded, it snapped the drive shaft to the tail rotor.
Whoa!
So the guy, the flying, went for the lake because it's like at least he's going over the water, but it had a massively high impact on the water.
Wow!
And went into the lake, and the crew got out, and 1 ATC cadet got out, but 2 didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was horrible. So, it has happened. You do end up, and the Navy, they fly over the water all the time, don't they? There's a very recent
Bloody
one,
hell.
tragic accident.
So it's just, so if you're in a helicopter and you're going down, it's just, you're always aiming for water, I suppose. You know, is that just to cushion the landing, like, or it was you know, you're not? Because I remember you telling me a few podcasts ago that you still get lift as you're going down.
Yeah, auto rotation.
Auto rotation. So like, you know, is it better to just smack down onto some things or potentially go into a lake? Like, I mean, or was it just a decision at the time? You're like,
it's a decision at the time, and of course there may not be any water at all. But if you carry out a perfect auto rotation, it's as smooth as silk. You know, onto. You know, if you had a beautiful flat field, because the lever is all the way down when you're auto rotating, as you come to the bottom of the sort of auto rotation, you flare, and as you flare, the rotor RPM speeds up. So it gives you more energy in the head, and what you can do then, you can bring in the lever, and you can actually cushion the landing.
Right. Okay.
And just as before you touch down, then you just ease off and level, if they're wheels or skids, depends on what sort of helicopter you're in, and you can just roll forward. And we used to do that. We used to practice that, and that's fine. But it's got to be all peachy. It's got to be a nice.
So if the tail rotor thing snaps, the drive shaft that snaps, you just,
that's very different.
Yeah. You just got to ditch it, like.
But that Hewitt train, the Dunker we used to call it, but the Dunker.
So how many times did you have to do that?
Every 2 years. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, that was. I didn't really mind it. I think I logicked it out in that there was always a diver with you.
Yeah.
First of all, nobody had ever died doing it, so I thought, that's all right then, isn't it? But I think psychologically it was like horrible because people didn't like being.
I'm never a fan of water, like. I mean,
but the idea of being strapped in.
Yeah.
And you're covered in water. It's like, what if I can't get the harness off or something? You know, so that's what freaks people out.
If it, until you stop moving, but until movement stops, then you can stop. But if you in real life, if you go into a lake or something, it's as soon as possible, isn't it? Surely, because when you stop moving, it might be 40 meters down, 50 meters down, like.
But you've got to have that. The thing is, you don't know what it's doing. It's got to be like pretty stable before you get out, and then you've got to go for the surface, haven't you? You've got to go to the top. But there's that whole shock, isn't there? There's that climactic sort of shock of cold water and all that sort of stuff. So it would be pretty scary. But so, what I was going to say was that whole underwater escape training stuff. All the guys who work on the rigs, I bet there's people who listen to this, have worked on oil rigs. They all have to do it. Anybody who routinely goes in helicopters over the water, they have to do it. It's not just aircrew.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So the company I work for at the moment, when we're using the range in the Hebrides, we have a sort of a part of our setup is on a little island called St Kilda, which is off the coast of South Uist, and those guys could have to do it. So some of them don't mind it, but it really does freak some people out.
I mean, I suppose like if it came down to it, I would do it if it was like the daylight sort of one, or where it's light. I'd be a lot keen about. Darkness, fucking hell, man. Rough that. Doesn't sound like a lot of fun at all, does it?
No, but it's this.
Was there any other sort of health and safety training that you had to do that was a bit nuts? Did you have to get shot like or something?
No. So in America we did, because they all say, well, how do you know how to land? If you're jacked. So in the RAF, you just do. Parachute rolls just in the gym. You jump off a little box and make sure that you know how to roll, and you do all your drills about sort of putting your mask up, taking your oxygen mask up, putting your visor up, and depends whether you're going into trees or buildings and all that sort. You've got different. So if you're going into trees, you keep your dinghy on underneath you, so you
Right.
don't get a branch up the arse.
Yeah.
But if you're going into buildings, you try and turn yourself so you go side on into the building, not sort of splat, all that sort of stuff. So there's lots of those sort of drills. But in America,
Well, so if you're in a plane, you're going to hit
Eject.
a build. Oh, so you're talking about
once
ejecting
on your
now.
parachute.
On your parachute
Yeah.
now, rather than actually in the. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah, and then there's into water, of course, again. But I think we've talked about that. Where
So the parachute into water would be terrifying because it's getting tangled up in it. There's like, that must be like the sort of big problem there would be getting, if you hit the surface and there's a parachute there, that can be a real issue, can't it?
So we trained for that. So what you do is you find a seam and you just keep pulling on the seam and you keep doing it and you will get to the end because you get covered in your own parachute in still wind, don't you? Which is a bit of a pain in the arse. But first of all, it is breathable. So you can, even though it's wet, you
So
can
if you were
breathe
lying
through it.
on your back, you still...
Yeah, you can breathe.
You can breathe through it.
But you find a seam and you just keep pulling on the same seam and you
okay.
come to the end of it. So that's another thing.
So does a parachute float on a lake?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is you can get dragged. So you can get in the water and then the parachute drags you because of the wind.
Right. Okay.
So we practiced for that. So you go out into
water skiing. Yeah, went out to Spain and we got on the water ski like.
So there's a big launch that the RAF use. I can't remember what the company's called. It's private now, but it used to be MOD. But in Holyhead Harbour, so you go down there once every 2 years, go on this boat, and you put all of your kit on, your sort of parachute harness, all that sort of stuff, and you jump off the back of the boat, and the boat's going forward, so you practice being dragged,
Bloody hell.
and then you have to undo your harness and because you don't care about your parachute anymore, you're in the water now. Get rid of that. Then you pull in your little. There's like a little yellow box that you're sitting on in the injection seat, but that has your dinghy in it.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So you pull, and that's got a handle on the side. You pull the handle, and it auto inflates.
Nice.
And then it's bizarrely it's coffin shaped. So you get round to the feet end, you pull yourself in.
Yeah.
Then you inflate the floor. You can blow in it, and then you can inflate the canopy, and you have a sea anchor out the back, and then you just sit there waiting to be picked up. But it's a one-man little dinghy, and you just sit in that.
Crikey.
And then hopefully a helicopter will come and get you. In fact, what we used to do was, these sea anchors are amazing. It's just a parachute that sits in the water, but every time the wind tries to blow you away, it just opens up, so you just stay pretty close to the same area.
Oh, so that makes sense. So yeah, just adding up there, because obviously if you were just floating around, how's
You'd be
going to know?
surfing off to the Scilly Isles.
Yeah.
But what we did on one of the parachute drills, or one of the dinghy drills, you pull your sea anchor in, and you can't see anything because you've got your back to the wind. It's just so scoot over to a mate and then get their sea anchor and like tuck it into like the handle of their dinghy, and they just go. They've no idea because they put their sea anchor out. They think they're all right.
Yeah.
And there's like a group of like 15 dinghies and like one like heading for Dublin. And
Brilliant.
When I was on search and rescue, we used to do the dinghy drills. So we'd go out into the harbour, so they'd call us and say, yeah, all the dinghies are in the water, come and pick them up. So you go out and...
There's this guys, scaling down from the helicopter, picking one up, winching him back up.
It's really good practice for the search and rescue, me as a pilot and the whole team. And you run in and they get ready, they peel off the top of their dinghy, and there's a thing called beckets, like on their life jacket, there's 2 hooks, and he just puts a hook through that. So
nobody has to even go down. They just send the rope down.
No. The winchman comes down. He puts the hook through the.
Why do they bother doing that? Why don't they just send the hook down?
Because he might be unconscious.
Oh yeah, fair play. Yeah.
So and put a loop under his feet, a harness under his feet, because what they found was they're pulling people out of cold water, vertical. And the blood was just draining from them. They were dying straight away. So there was just such a shock, because what they do, they keep people horizontal when they pull them out of the
Oh,
water.
wow. Have you seen that video of that woman spinning round on the bed when she gets airlifted
Yeah.
with a helicopter?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's funny. Poor thing, like... It's doing like 200 RPM, isn't she?
She's about a
Like
foot longer.
2,000 RPM.
She's about a foot longer.
Amazing.
But it was funny because you'd head out towards these dinghies and you could see all these little orange blobs around the place, and you pick up 3, 4 of them, and then hover over the boat and then drop them back onto the boat. And you'd see a group of like 15 dinghies, and then one like way off on its own, and you go, oh fuck, I know what they've done. We better go and get him first.
Brilliant. Amazing.
But the last thing about that was, in America, the only difference is they in Texas, over a rock hard airfield, because it's just no rain,
Yeah.
desert. They pull you up on a what's it called? You know, parasailing behind a boat in Magaluf or something. They do that, but behind a truck.
Yeah.
They pull you up until sort of you're up a couple hundred feet, and they just let you do the landing part, which is a bit weird. It's like
from parachutes, they pull you up on a parachute, turn it, and then they just let you land.
Just behind a pickup truck. It was like it felt like the least thought out thing ever.
Yeah.
And like one Norwegian guy broke his ankle, so he couldn't. It's like, why are we doing this? But it's just to learn the last bit. It's like, well, you're going to work that out at the time, aren't you?
Yeah. Because if we don't need to know that while we're flying.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That's like a worst case. Do you know what I mean? We're not ejected each time.
But what was so funny was we spent like 2 weeks learning how to parachute roll.
Right.
In a classroom on rubber mats. And then you actually, on the day, you just come down, you just
Behind
go...
F-250, like...
Boom. It's like, oh, well, I lived. all goes out the window. The other thing they do is you have to stand on an ink pad. This is like when you're getting all your kit. And and then you stand on a piece of paper, so you have footprints on these bits of paper. And I went, oh, that's interesting. Why are we doing that? And he's going, because if you crash there, the soles of your feet don't burn because they're in your boots, so we can recognise who you are. It's like, oh,
whoa, bloody hell!
Thanks for that.
Christ.
Yeah, so that was all that survival stuff.
Nice.
Sorry, I was just thinking about it because we were chatting about it last night.
Yeah, do you ever any gun stuff? Ever any gun stuff being a pilot like?
Yeah, I mean, so there's it is the military, so you do have to learn how to shoot things. So obviously pilots have pistols.
So this is what I was just about to ask. Do you do
not much room?
No, do you get a little sidearm when do you get that? As in like when you go on search and rescue, or when you fight a pilot, or what's the? Do you get it in every scenario? Does an airline pilot, do they have one? Like
No.
what's the?
It's only in a sort of combat environment. So
Wow, okay.
if you could be shot down somewhere and end up in sort of we had them in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
You had like a little pistol in here, but we also had.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, and but you'd want one really, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
They didn't like
ideally.
us. We're all friends now. That's
kind of. Amazing.
Yeah.
I watched a film called. Have you seen this film called Threads? It's like a 1984 film, like a British. If anybody's watched Threads, let me know in the comments. It was fucking horrific. Like it was about nuclear war breaks out between America and Russia, and then obviously everybody else gets involved, and it's like full on nuclear war throughout the world. And it just shows like what would happen. So it's like a sort of documentary sort of film.
This.
Absolute chaos, like, and it's just amazing just to sort of see. But it's, from 1940, but it's super interesting because it's based in Sheffield, which is like great because every British film. I don't know if any Australians or Americans or even French. I don't know. Anybody watching? Like British films, quite often, they tend to be sort of based in London.
London.
Everything's just in like one place. And it's just dead frustrating. So to watch a film, it's like, oh my God, it's Sheffield. It's literally an hour away. Like, do you know what I mean? I spent loads of time.
Were you talking to Belle about?
Cushion.
Were you talking to Belle about that?
What, Threads?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, because she was on about it recently because she's from Sheffield and she said it was incredible because it really made it real.
So it did the rounds on TikTok recently, so maybe that's why I watched it. It's a great source of finding films because it just gives you like the best clips, and then you go, oh, do you know what, I'll watch that. But it's really good. But it goes through all the stages, and it's like, wow, yeah. And then you see, there's a stage where people are trying to use traction engines and stuff and steam machinery because there's no fuel. It's just like, oh wow, okay. So there's farmers using, and then it's like, and stuff breaks down. They can't get parts. They can't do stuff, and then it's like stuff just breaks down further and further and further to a point where it goes back to medieval times. It's wow. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
I know a bloke, and I won't say his name at the moment, who is a bit of a let's just say he's prepared. He's ex-military, but he's going for the whole bunker in the garden, machete, lots of tins of beans.
He's probably seen Threads. Because I had the exact same thoughts afterwards. I was like, Christ, what would I do? But it's certainly because it's like, just makes total sense because one of the things that I've never thought about is like what would happen, physically, and it shows like the blast from the bomb because it's Britain's peppered in them and they're not even that far away, and it's like all the buildings collapse and everything. Because in my head, you're like, there'd be loads of bottles of water in like Tesco's and stuff, and it shows this big supermarket store just vanish into dust and rubble. Yeah. And it's like, oh God, right, okay, well that was my plan. Do you know what I mean? That was my plan. I thought I was just going to
go down to Curry's, get a big telly.
Go and live in the super, fire up a generator, find a truck on the motorway somewhere transporting diesel. I'm set.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Awesome. Mad Max.
Yeah. But very different, isn't it?
Yeah, because there was that whole thing, isn't it? Because there's the bright flash.
Yeah.
Then there's the shockwave because you're supposed to lie down, aren't you? But then it comes back over you again in the other direction, doesn't it?
Shit. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. What about that cartoon one? Have you seen that?
Oh, that's horrible.
Is it When the Wind...
When the Wind Blows.
When the Wind Blows, is that it? Yeah, that's rough as well. That's really
horrible,
rough.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Both of them, about the same time they both came out, I think.
Yeah.
Right? People must have been panicking about something.
Yeah.
Never happened, don't worry about it.
Of course, it won't... we're not anywhere near that now, are we?
Well, this is it. I'm just checking the camera. Are we like? Is it anything, because you're involved in that world, aren't you?
I don't think Putin's stupid enough to actually press the button, but he's threatening it. He is threatening. He does it all the time, doesn't he? Sort of saying we've got nuclear weapons.
What would you do?
What would I do?
What's your plan?
And I want to be as close to the epicenter as possible. I want to be vaporized.
Trying to catch it.
Mate, I'm 61. I've done well. Just you can't. I don't worry about stuff I can't control.
Yeah.
I'm not worrying about that.
Yeah.
Just like
I think I'd try and find a B&Q. Barricade myself inside a B&Q. You've got everything. They even have vending machines with food in.
Farrow and ball.
Yeah.
Paint. Oh, what a lovely colour.
They've got all the timber and all the metal sheeting for roofs, and so you just build something, you'll be fine.
Something.
Yeah. Until it gets completely obliterated by it. But at least you've tried.
Have you seen that latest hurricane in Florida?
I've not looked into much of it. I've seen some clips of it, but yeah, it looks rough.
Yeah. Why are people still in their houses?
I don't know. I mean, where are you going to go? I'm just thinking if it was happening, I'd be swimming here.
But you've got 3 days notice, or 4 days they're talking about it's coming. So
but that's something though, because you say that now. Imagine they said you got, I don't know, like it was on the radio or new text message or whatever saying 3 days there's going to be a hurricane here. Get yourself out of the city.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, whatever.
I'm going to stay and watch it.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Would you go, oh my God, quick, right, let's disappear, let's go off into the coast. Would you, or would you just be like...
Well, not from here.
Yeah.
We have the shittest weather ever. It's like we don't even.
But if you got, because that's why people are still in their homes, isn't it? Because I would, just from a text message, I'd get all my things and leave.
Yeah, but it does happen, and over there, and they are. If it's a category 4, 5, whatever, and it's like it's going to be.
They just get the weather wrong all the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They get the weather wrong all the time.
They do.
And I would just be like, do you know what? I'll chance it. Because...
Get the cat in.
Yeah, because, Great British Bake Off's new series is just about to start. Not missing that. I'd give it a go. Wait, I'm in first floor flat anyway, so I'll be fine.
You'll be fine.
Yeah. But I think, I do think that's why they're still in the houses, because I don't know, you'd probably just...
Probably feel safer, don't you?
Yeah, because I don't know where else you'd go, like...
Well,
weird, isn't it?
into a state that isn't having a hurricane. Into a
but
Premier
do you know
Inn.
anyone there? Yeah.
Do you know anyone there?
Yeah, but what if you can't afford a Premier Inn?
Yeah,
What if
that's
you can't-
true.
There's a lot of stuff there.
No,
isn't
that
there?
is fair. That is fair.
Can't afford the petrol. I don't have a car. It's just all sorts of stuff.
No, quite right. Yeah.
You just be like, yeah, I'll stay.
My affluent ways. Yeah. Go and stay in a country club somewhere for a while.
Ouch,
Go
man.
on holiday till it's all done.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to Malaga for a couple of weeks. Actually, it might be an ideal opportunity. Take a sabbatical from work. Do you know what? I was thinking about getting the kitchen done, and it's perfect time because it's been wiped out by a flood. Oh, great! Yeah, we're just going to get the kitchen done. We'll stay in a hotel. Yeah,
Never liked those carpets.
Never like. Yeah, we're going to change the carpets anyway.
Tornadoes, though.
We don't know about any of this, do we? I mean, hello everybody. Sorry, the battery died on the camera there, so we're now back though.
My round.
Wynne's getting a third beer. Functioning alcoholic.
High functioning.
High functioning. Well, functioning. What do you reckon to this corner then, viewers? Do you like this? Is this better? I don't know how much I like it. There's another 3 corners we could try, isn't there?
Yeah.
See what this is like. So you're at rugby today then?
Yes.
How's Toby doing?
Really good. Very
yeah.
good. Yeah. He scored a couple of tries.
Nice.
Yeah, very good. Beat Rill 69-7, bless them.
Whoa!
Poor old Rill.
Has anything good ever come out of Rill? I don't think so, unfortunately.
This is where you know the name of the road, isn't it?
Yeah. Apologies to anybody from Rill there, but yeah, it's a bit rough, isn't it? I opened the Honey Club in Rill once with Abby Titmuss.
What? Hang on, what?
Mad arts. Fucking done some weird shit in my life, I end up being a fucking YouTuber and having a podcast and stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
Just hang on, you need to repeat that. You opened the what? The honey pot.
No, so there was a let me just calculate what I want to discuss. There was so I used to work for a radio station called Coast FM.
Right.
You must remember Coast FM.
Coast FM.
96.3. So they had their roving reporter was called like Black Thunder, whatever. So it was Black Thunder. Yeah, it's mad. And I think the first Black Thunder. I can't remember her name. Black Thunder, like Karen or something. Anyway, but,
Black Thunder Karen.
I think it was. Why am I don't want to say what I think it actually is because I think it's because we were talking about hurricane. I'm sure it's like Black Thunder Katrina. I can't remember her name. Anyway, she worked for Coast FM.
Hannah.
Yeah, and anyway, she left, and then they did. They were holding auditions for a new one, and at the time I was 17, 18. I was 18. Or I was just turning 18, and then I'd left my job selling fucking spoons or something, and because I didn't go and do any sort of proper university stuff or anything, didn't need to, was clever enough, and then I'd applied to a few different car garages to be work for cars doing anything, and then. I saw this advert come up to be the new Black Thunder for Coast. I thought, you know what, fuck it, I'll do it. So I applied, and there's a whole other story around it, but got the job. And I applied via like X Factor style auditions. It was really like
being a redcoat at Butlins.
Yeah, cringing thinking about it right now. But yeah, we had to. It was in a pub, and they'd hired out one of the rooms in the pub, and we had to stand in front of these people and like. There was a box of stuff, and we had to reach into the box, grab something, and sell it. But we weren't allowed to see what was in the box, and it was just like, and it was totally cringe. But I just had this great line that like my mate always used to use whenever we were like getting stoned or something. He just we were all sitting, when there's like we're all sitting there, and there's like a moment of silence. Everybody in the room was just chatting, but all of a sudden there's like all dampens down. There's just a moment of silence, and just like. I was waiting for the next thing to say, like, and Tom would just pick up, and so they'd go, I don't like to advertise, but when I want to put my head down, I choose, and just like completely out of the blue, like we're all like fucking stoned, dying, and he'd just anything that was around him, he'd just go into, and I did that, fucking nailed it, absolutely. Everybody was like rolling around. I was like, this is brilliant, and then got the job. And I had to do some mad stuff. I had to go to Holyhead ferries and give them cakes and things, and like had to run into Tesco's and like with a megaphone and just loads of stuff. That looking back on it now, I would kill myself. But
That's
one
amazing.
of the things was that there was a club called the Honey Club in Rill,
Right.
that was just new opening.
Yeah.
There was at the time I think it was Love Island. There was a lad off Love. I don't know if it was Love Island. It was one of those types of shows, but this is a long time ago. So if I was 18, this is 18 years ago, 19 years ago. So it was like one of the first iterations of those types of shows, and there was someone famous coming down from that. I can't remember what name. It was some lad. He was coming down, and then they said, right, we'll get Abby Titmuss to come down as well. And they were like, and we'll get someone from the local radio to report on it and just like come in and like interview everybody about the club and all that sort of stuff. Just something that just like really wouldn't really happen now. Like. and then so because I was the roving reporter, I had to do it. And because it was like 3 weeks into my employment there, I was like told like I wouldn't have done it anything like they told me to, but they told me how to do it. They gave me a box of like Chubba Chups lollies. Yeah. And they were like, you've got to go in and you've got to give these out to people, and you've got to ask them like, what is your favourite lolly? And it just made no sense. Like it was just totally bizarre. And then I had to go and do the same thing to Abby Titmuss and this guy. And so they're like in this area, we're all cordoned off essentially for all that, because there's famous people and then there's me and like and a couple of other people that were doing all the recording stuff. And the recording stuff was a mobile phone, like an old 3210, with a little recording microphone just like strapped to the bottom of it with a big cable, and the guy walked behind me with a big box of just like all the stuff, and I was just like, this is so shit. I like it was just a mobile phone. Hi, mobile phone. It's like fucking hell. So but that transmitted it to the radio, and then it would go out on the radio, you see, so it had to be live, and it was totally cringe. And I remember I was doing it to a few people, and we'd have to find people that were like safe, because everybody's like on drugs and shit, and just like it was probably
real, isn't it?
Yeah, it was like 8 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night, and it was just like really treacherous grounds. I was only 18. I was shitting myself. All these going up to these lads that are like fucking big stud-heads from Rill, just like fucking hell, watch our lollipops, lad, give us a lolly. And you're like, oh fucking hell. So I did all that, and I went up.
You're live on Coast FM.
Yeah. I had to do all of that. Right, you're live again. It was awful. And then I had to then go up to speak to these Abby Titmuss and this guy. So I went up to Abby Titmuss first. Back in the day, behaved like, but she fell off, didn't she, in a big way, like, disappeared. That's when you had like Nuts magazine and Zoom magazine and stuff. They were brilliant. Bring those back. Brilliant. They were so good. I went up to it, and I blocked it out from memory because it was so bad. And I remember I looked like a dickhead as well. I looked like an absolute, because I had to wear the
There
Coast
must
FM.
be some photos of this.
No, I think deep down there somewhere, but I had to wear a Coast FM puffer jacket, and it was just
Of course
like,
you did.
and I just remember it didn't fit me, and it was just weird. Everything was weird because I only worked there 3 weeks, and they hadn't got my stuff, like my size and things. So anyway, so I remember going up to Abby Titmuss, and she had 3 big security guards around her, and I'd been like opposite her all night. I hadn't spoken to her at all at this point, but she'd obviously been told what was happening, and we all knew what was happening, because otherwise why would there be a guy there with microphones and another guy that was sound recording? So I walked straight up to Abby Titmuss, lollipop in my hand, microphone in the other.
In your puffer jacket.
In my puffer jacket. And I go, and I'm probably like a bit hyped to her. Hi, Abby. And both 2 of her bodyguards just whoop straight in front of me. No, mate, back up. And I was like, okay. And the sound goes, whoops. So he's like, and I'm like, okay, well, I think we've just been stopped. We'll go back in a minute. We'll go back to it. And like, I was like, what the fuck? I was like, we've got to speak to her. And they were like, no way, mate, we're not doing that.
You're not doing that.
Yeah. And I was like, but it's part of the thing. Like we've got to speak to Abby. I'm thinking like, nah, mate, not doing that.
And that was the end of that.
And I was like, but
it's my job.
Yeah, I was like, fuck. And then like I went back to phone the studio and be like, mate, I can't get near her. Like they won't let me talk to her. And I just put it in literally, and she just went, and then the bodyguards took me away.
But it was Abby Titmuss, not Nelson Mandela.
Yeah, and I was sat across from her all night, like, yeah, it's just totally weird. But as soon as because we knew that it was going to happen, like people have been speaking, but as soon as she did it, no, not doing that, mate. I was like, fucking hell. I don't know if she'd like something, she'd just done a massive line or something like that, so she wasn't ready. I don't know. But anyway, left her tail between her legs. But then, but I hated the whole experience of that. It was absolutely horrible. And I got a phone call pretty much the next day or a few days later from Volkswagen in Menai Bridge.
Yeah.
And they were like, do you want to come and we need help with Volkswagen commercial vehicle sales. Pentraeth Automotive. And I was like, please, can I come and do that? Please, anything. And fucking that was that. The rest is history. Like, but yeah, that was my time as a roving reporter for the radio.
Fantastic. You're a man of many talents.
Yeah.
But see, it's helped you, hasn't it? There you are on the stage yesterday, chatting at Rustival.
Yeah.
Like a pro.
Could have been some lad from the radio there. I went, no, not doing that, mate. Not doing that. Fuck
Alid
off.
would have stopped him.
Yeah. Get Alid in there. No, not doing that. No way. Fuck that. God, it was mad. What else did we do for that? There was some really shit stuff. There was so the audition, I had to go up and do the thing, and it ended up being, and it was, it's just, I hated it. It ended up being, to get the job, a draw between me and this other lad. Much older, at the time, much cooler, just like a bit more, he was settled in, he was kind of no junction lad, just proper settled into it, he's like loads of mates, right, everything. I was just like this fucking 18-year-old fresh out of school, like, and it was a competition between us two. And to decide who won and who got the job...
You had to fight.
Yeah, we did. We had to fight via the public vote.
Oh, what?
So for 2 weeks we had to canvass to get people to phone in to a number, and then they counted the votes. And whoever got the most votes at the end got the job. He won by a landslide. Absolute landslide. He maybe got 5,000 and I got 500. That kind of landslide. And I was like, devastated at the time, because the Black Thunder thing, you got the cool puffer jacket, but you also got a short wheelbase Mitsubishi Pajero with Black Thunder all over the side of it, which was totally sick.
Yeah.
But annoyingly, I wouldn't be able to drive until I was either 19 or 20 or so, I can't remember. But anyway, so I had to have a guy driving around with me. But anyway, the reason I got the job was because this guy got the job, and then he just like, within his first day or something, they were just like, worked out who this guy actually was. Had like a real bad sort of record and history and stuff, bit of a drug dealer and all this type of thing. And they were just like, we can't have him on the fucking radio. Like, there's no way like we can have him on the radio. Let's get the other guy instead.
Yeah.
And then they rang me and they're like, actually, I know you didn't quite win, but like...
That's bizarre.
Weird,
Bizarre.
man.
How did you end up putting your hand up for that? That's incredible.
So weird, just so weird, isn't it? It's just like, I don't know.
Good,
mad.
eh?
But it was at the time. I remember I was selling spoons, so I worked for a place called Allen Supplies in Conway, and the it was. I used to drive to work and back in a Sierra Rally car, fully prepared Sierra Rally car. Sierra. I got the job when I was 17, and one of my first cars when I was 17 was a Sierra Rally car, fully prepared, stickered up, roll cage. There was a whole lot. It was a proper
was
rally
that?
car. It was mine.
Oh, right.
But this was when you could buy a Sapphire 2-litre double overhead cam, not turbo or anything, Sierra Rally car for 800 quid. Do you know what I mean? It was a bin. It was completely knackered. So it ran on 3 cylinders most of the time, but occasionally 4.
How
so I just
loud
never
in
bothered.
there?
Oh, you couldn't do anything. And the rear arches were toast, sills toast, everything was gone in it. I just scraped it through an MOT, and then dodgy MOT, proper, because I knew the guy, like, he did loads of dodgy MOTs for me.
Yeah.
And then. I just drove around in that, and I'd drive to work and back. And it had like almost like a light pod over the front. It had 4 spotlights on it. It was fucking mental. I've got loads of pictures of it as well. I'll try and share one. It was sick. I wish I still had it. But yeah, so worked in this place in Conway Industrial Estate, Conway Morver, and it was selling catering supplies. So I was on the phone, and I just basically restaurants, hotels, loads of hotels obviously in the area. They'd ring me and go, can you send us some 4-ply centerfold napkins? Can we have 6 boxes of those? Can we have some duck's back tablecloths? Can we have this? Can we have that? And I'm just like, yeah, write it all down, put it on the computer, send it into the warehouse, and then it'd go out to them. And I would occasionally have to go and show people, like the people ordering stuff that we had, because like you'd get a phone call, and this particular example, and one of the reasons why I decided I didn't want to do this anymore, and I started looking for other things, was that a guy from one of the hotels in Cledendon rang up and was like, I need some teaspoons, want to replace all of the teaspoons, because all of the teaspoons are knackered, and the whole hotel are knackered, like we want to replace all of the teaspoons. And I'm like, yeah, cool. And he's like, what teaspoons do you? So I open up the car, right, so we've got like 400 different options here, mate. Well, you know, we've got quite a lot of different options.
This is the most bizarre conversation.
So weird. And I was like, yes, we got all these. Like, and he's like, well, I don't know without seeing them. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, hang on, I'll call you back. Said to the boss, and he's like, oh, hang on. And they had loads of stuff in this whole place. And one of them was a cutlery cases.
Yeah.
And it was these wooden boxes that had all of the different types of cutlery. So there's one box for knives, one box for forks, one box for spoons. And I was like, and he was like, take the spoon ones down to him. And I remember sitting there in this like similar sort of setup, just like a table like this. And he was like, I'm not sure this one. Not sure with that. Okay. Yeah, not sure with that one. Yeah, okay. And he's like, going through the whole box. And I just remember sitting there going,
It's a spoon, mate.
yeah, this isn't for me. This isn't for me. Like, I can't get excited about this. I can't. I'm into cars, like, and drugs and women and booze. Like, I can't get excited about teaspoon. And I remember saying stuff like to him, like, yeah, you can get a lot of sugar on that one. Just like, yeah, that one's quite well balanced, isn't it? You know,
you need spoons. We have spoons. That's bizarre.
Totally bizarre. But I left. Anyway, last bit about this. How I left there, I didn't have my notice in or anything. When the Black Thunder thing happened and I went for the interview,
Yeah.
so because it was all very last minute and all, but yeah, it was all very, it felt like they were doing it by the seat of their pants. And I put all the CVs in, they messaged them and were like, right, can you be in tomorrow, 9 a.m, and we're going to do the sort of a live chat between you and the other contenders, because there was like 5 of us in the first stage. After the pub audition, they ended up whittled down to 5, and then it was the 2 of us, and then it was the person who won. And I was like, shit, I'm working tomorrow. I was like, fuck. I was like, yeah, fine, I'll be there. So anyway, first thing in the morning, phoned up Allen Supplies, spoke to one of the administrators there. I was just like, look, I'm rough, yeah, dead rough, can't make it. I'm so ill, like, can't make it in, like. And they were like, oh, oh, right, okay, don't worry about it. I was like, yeah, really sorry, I'll be in the morning, like, awful. Anyway, straight off to Bangor, to the radio station, which is in a little industrial estate in Bangor. And flew into the studio, all the stuff, brilliant, having a whale of a time. And so we're all sat in this big studio, and we all have microphones, we're all answering questions, talking and stuff, and it's like for hours, like, and we're all live on the radio at this point. Anyway, that all finishes, get into work the next day, then office. I'm like, oh, what's going on? What's up? I'm feeling better, like, I'm feeling fine, like, I'm okay to be and stuff. And they were like, we've got the radio on all day here. Like. we've got the radio, we heard you yesterday. All day you were in Coast FM doing the thing. I was like, fuck yeah. Hadn't quite put two and two together there that someone in like the 100 employees Alan Spies might be listening. But they had the radio on in the warehouse and everything. I just didn't even clock on. And they were like, well, obviously, you are applying for the jobs, aren't you? And I was like, just that one, like, and then they were like, well, fuck off.
Yeah, thanks.
Or either stop or go. And I was like, okay, but then and it all happened so fast, I was like, oh, fucking go anyway, it's shit, I don't want to say his fucking spoons anymore. Talk about toilet bowl, 4-ply toilet bowl. Totally mad.
I started a Honda motorcycle apprenticeship, like to be a Honda
Where was
mechanic in Pembrokeshire.
Nice.
I went along to the interview, I was 16, this is before I joined the RF obviously, and I've got this thing where if somebody tells me to do something, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
So I was always going to join the RAF. I quite liked the idea of it.
Get that with comments on the YouTube.
Okay.
Someone will say like, "Oh, you should do this with the Capri or something." I'm like, "Don't say anything like that because it's now you're going to think that was your idea if I do it."
Yeah.
I was going to do that anyway. Don't say, fuck, so annoying. But anyway,
I have a problem with that. So basically, my mum started telling everybody I was going to join the RF. I just thought, well, I'm not going to. I'll cut my nose off to spite my face. Hate the RAF. It's a shit idea. I'm not doing it. And she said, well, what are you going to do then? I said, I don't know, but I'm not joining the RAF. Because you keep telling everybody I'm joining the RAF. So I applied for this Honda motorcycle apprenticeship and got it. And about 6 months in, I hated it so much.
Really?
It was just not for me.
Yeah.
It was the same every day.
Yeah.
That's what drove me insane.
Yeah.
You come in, the same guy turned the radio on.
Yeah.
Another guy would like put the light on in the little sandwich room.
Yeah.
Like 10 o'clock, it's like, right, somebody would put the kettle on. It's your turn to make the tea.
Yeah.
And you go in and you just sit in there, and this guy would eat his sandwich. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, 10:30
he'd have one sandwich.
Yeah.
Out of 4, he'd have one at 10:30. And he'd eat it with oily fingers, and I just watch him going, and you can have the other 3 at 12:30, aren't you? Because you do that every day.
Yeah.
And he had a Robin Reliant. I remember him really well. And I was thinking, you've worked here for like 20 years. And you've got a Robin Reliant. I don't want a Robin Reliant.
Yeah.
And you just look, it's that. Even at 16, you're thinking, I wanted to be around motorbikes, and I was thinking that's amazing, but it wasn't that.
Well, I started an unofficial apprenticeship when I left school at 15. After your exams, 15 years old, and then I was like, immediately I want to get a job in cars.
Yeah,
and do whatever I can. But because I was 15, I was too young. I had to wait 16 to get an apprenticeship, so I went to all these places, and I was like, one cars. Toyota were the ones that picked me up in Condon Junction, and they were like, do you know what? Yeah, we'll put you on the apprenticeship thing, but it's gonna be unofficial until you're 16. So we'll start your employment now because we do need the help in the workshop. And I was like, sick. So I bought my first car bought a Mark II Astra from one of the guys who worked there. So that was the only good thing about it. But exactly the same as you. It was the fucking doldrums, man, and I had, because I was the shithead 15-year-old. I had to do all of the shit work. Emptying a bin, putting it in another bin, and then doing that. And then, like, I had to mop the floors, even though you didn't really even need mopping. But I had to do it because that was what you had to do.
Yeah.
I was like, but nobody's even been in this bit. It's immaculate, like. I mopped it 7 hours ago. Nobody's even walked on it, like, and you want me to do it again because I had to do it again, like, you know. It's like, I just hated it.
And I didn't have a full motorbike license, so I had a moped, I had a Suzuki AP50.
Yeah.
And it's just felt like if it was a headwind, it just felt like because we used to race motocross, you know. So we had some quite nice motorbikes about. But on the road, it's like the thing that wouldn't pull the skin off a rice pudding. And I get there, and there was an RD400, coffin tank RD400. That was like just some rat bike that was just there. I had no stand. It just leant against the wall. And it's like, can I go on that?
Yeah.
And they go, no, of course you can't. You know, come on, give us a go on that. And one of the other mechanics went, just go up the road and back. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I ragged this thing up the road and back, and it's like, see, that'd be better.
Yeah.
But I didn't hang around long enough to be old enough to get a proper license. No. So I tried that, and then just joined the RAF when nobody was looking. See, I did it.
Yeah, that's it.
You didn't. It wasn't your idea.
Yeah. But it is weird. There's nothing worse than when someone suggests something to you. And like, do you know what? I was talking to Rob about this the other day because I blew it. So he's got a Facebook account for his MX-5 restoration.
Yes, he has. I watch it.
Rob is...
That trips off the tongue. What is it?
Rob's Eunice Roadster Restoration A106. I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
But
it's good though. I like it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Name does need work though, Rob. So he goes. I think to be fair, he has just changed it now, so it does say just Eunice Roadster Restoration.
Okay.
But his Instagram is jumbled up, and it's NA8C, NA8C, which is the model of the MX-5.
Okay,
the
quite niche, but yes, some people would get that. Yeah.
Unlikely, but some. So, but one of the worst things that you can say to another human being, in terms of feedback, is that there was a guy on his. Rob put a picture up of his fuel tank that he just freshly restored, ready to go on his restored car, and it was like covered, thick layer of all the good stuff that you need. So, and Rob uses. So, whatever you think you can tell Rob about MX-5s, you can't. He knows everything about them. He is the sort of person that will. And this is why he fucking designs new Bentleys. The Bentleys that people are going to drive in like 2 or 3 years. He's working on them now, like, and so if he's looking at like, how am I going to protect my fuel tank? He's done his fucking research. Like, he knows what he's talking about. He's done his research. And there's this other guy on his Facebook, and he shares some like screenshots of him. And he's just like, he welds fucked old MX-5s back together in a shed, and he thinks he's the MX-5 guru.
Yeah.
And he's just like, can't teach me nothing about, but that's fine. But what he then does is he jumps, because Rob's, really, and all of his posts are perfect and everything's really nicely done.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy doesn't do any of that.
Yeah.
But he jumps on Rob's post and sticks his oar in every time. And he put a comment on his post going, you need to really... you need to cover that fuel tank in underseal because it'll leak. And he said these immortal words that made me want to jump through the phone screen and strangle him. You'll thank me later.
Oh. Yeah.
You'll thank me later.
You might as well just put young man at the end.
And like, you'll thank me later. Oh, I'm boiling my blood just thinking about it. And the pictures, you can see it's coated in better than factory. It's going to last 1 million years, that, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Post-apocalypse, there'll be like some cockroaches and that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In threads, it'll just be there. Just when you look at the landscapes, with Rob's fucking fuel tank.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, you'll thank me later. And I zoomed in on the photo, screenshotted it so you could see where all the stuff is. Screenshotted underneath his comment and went, look at the photo, you'll thank me later. Anyway, caused a bit of a disturbance. But I just couldn't abide by it. Couldn't abide by it. But that's one of the worst things you can ever say to anyone. But we do it as a laugh now in the sort of group chat. Whenever anybody suggests anything, we're like, hey, you'll thank me later. But that is the worst thing you can ever say to someone.
Yeah.
When you give advice. And that's the same thing, we're talking about like, go and join the RAF. You'll thank me later. So no, shut the fuck up. I'll go and join it if I want. Yeah. I'll make the decision.
I'm damn good and ready.
Yeah.
Still 16.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like when people say like gearboxes and stuff, someone suggested like you should put a Mazda RX-8 gearbox in the Capri, which is totally valid. And I know about the RX-8 gearbox as a 6-speed gearbox. It's a massively common conversion. And, it's like you should put that in there. But it's like, well, hang on. Don't tell me to do that. Don't suggest that like you've just found the fucking...
Like you've just split the atom.
Yeah, solved the Da Vinci Code. Like, don't fucking come in on it, sail in on your high horse and tell me to put an RX-8 gearbox in it. Because, first off, I haven't got one, and I've got 2 Type 9 gearboxes that bolt straight fucking on, so why would I bother? You'll blow it up. I know I'll blow it up, but I've got it here. It's not doing anything. I'm going to put it on anyway.
Yeah.
You'll thank me later.
You thank me later, yeah.
Fucking bastards, honestly. No, they're great. Fine. But,
I mean, you haven't done anything with the Capri recently, though, have you?
Engine's back.
Is it?
Engine's back, and it looks fit.
Turbo's not on, though.
I haven't even bought the turbo yet.
Okay.
But so the Capri is on blocks.
Yeah.
For probably...
Winter project.
No, I say it's been pushed back probably... For people watching, probably 2 months maybe.
Okay.
Because of the car I'm starting working on tomorrow.
Oh, hello.
Which I can't really discuss.
Go on.
I can't.
Give us a hint.
I told you about it. It's the one that. Should we talk about it? I don't know if we should.
No, it's up to you. It's up to you. Will it piss off the Patreon people?
No, because they know about it. You just go. It's the Rascal van.
Yes, I know.
So you can't plan anything with YouTube. When you've got which is one of the reasons I like having the Capri, because it stops me buying other big long-term projects because I have that one there to do.
Yeah, and it's a good one, isn't it?
And it's but I want to do it so right and so well with all the best stuff, and I want it to be something that I treasure for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing it for the sake of putting a video out. I'm not doing any of that, and that means that I'm having to spend real money on it, proper money. Every time I walk past it, it's £1,000.
Yeah.
It's just every time I look at it, it's 500 quid.
Yeah.
It's very expensive to buy the bits that I want to put on. I could do it loads cheaper. I understand that. I could do it loads cheaper. I don't want to. I want it to be like amazing, So it's shelved at the moment, but there's no rush. I'm happy for it to sit there. I love looking at it. It's just great sitting under its cover. It's just ready to go. Like, you know? But the engine's back. So there's nothing that's happening that I need to spend money on at the moment and all that sort of stuff. So the pushed back for a couple of months while someone commented on one of the videos, I think that old van you did is on eBay. And I was like, ugh! Fuck, straight onto eBay. It's there, like H45800K hook. And it's very, very special to me, this van.
Yeah.
Like,
it is the first. It's the first big video, isn't it?
Yeah. I had sort of 600 subscribers, 653. I was looking the other day thinking about this exact thing, and I looked at the metrics of the video and how long it took and when it actually happened and stuff. I remember at the time it was like a life-changing moment for me. And I put the sort of so the van. I bought the van off Facebook Marketplace for 800 quid. It was wrecked, like. Brought it to the workshop and I filmed everything in 2 days, and got it running, got it driving, took it down the road to the petrol station and back. For an MOT officer, and then after that, I literally, as soon as I stopped recording, I hadn't even edited the video yet, stopped recording. I put it back on Facebook Marketplace immediately because I had no money. I was so skint because I decided to do YouTube, and it's incredibly expensive, like, you know, and I was just like, right, I'm totally skint. The only way for me to be able to produce new content is to then sell this van.
Yeah.
So I sold the van to a guy that I knew for 800 quid.
Yeah.
Got my money back. I was like, great sound. Or I think it might be more than that. It might have been grand, maybe. Because it was now running and driving. I sold it to him and he was like, yeah, I'm going to do a full restoration on it. And I was like, yeah, cool, fine, whatever. Moving on to the next thing. So about a week after that video went up, so I uploaded the video, about a week after that video went up, the van's long gone at this point, because I sold it immediately. The van's long gone. I woke up one morning and the video had spiked.
Yeah.
So it just had this massive spike, and it got me something like 1,500 followers, 2,000 subscribers. And I was like, whoa. I was like, shit, because my whole plan with YouTube was that I was going to, if I got to 1,000 subscribers in my first year, and I'd done loads of it, I'd done the 2 Mercedes, I'd done the Amiga, I'd done loads of videos before, and just none of them had done any well. So I was like, it's going to take ages, you know, to sort of get up to any sort of level. And I got like 1,500 subscribers overnight from this van, and I was like, shit. But then all of the comments, restore it, restore it, restore it, restore it, restore it, restore it. You should have kept it. They're not saying you should have kept it, but restore it, restore it, restore it. I was like, oh, fucking hell. And anyway, so next day, further up, and I got in total, within a few weeks, something like 4,000 subscribers off that van. And immediately regretted selling it.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I watched the video.
It was a starting point, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I watched the video again the other day of me doing it just to refresh my memory of like how that first video went, because I'm going to reference some bits of it in this next series that's coming up on it. And the joy on my face when I'm driving it is like, and I look at it, I was like, fuck, that's cool. You know, I was so, you know, it's one of those things that you get in and you cannot be unhappy in it. Because it's just like a little sooty van, isn't it? It's like, you know, you're just like, wee, you know what I mean? It's a bizarre thing. The engine's under your arse there, and the windscreen's like just a flat thing here. Like, it's just
like a milk
weird
float.
Yeah, it's just weird, but it's just such a happy little vehicle, you know. I love it to bits.
It's a V8, isn't it?
Yeah, imagine. I get something for the future, couldn't it? You know? So anyway, so the plan is so I won it on eBay, paid almost $2,000 for it, which is just absolutely ridiculous because it's fucked. So he didn't.
So he didn't
do any restoration on it. He paid some guy to do some welding, and the welding's awful, absolutely awful welding, but I'm going to leave a lot of it because I'll just be able to clean it up with a grinder and stuff. But it's really bad. But I will be showing a lot of that in the video. Still, loads more welding to do. So it needs both of the sliding doors, the sliding door ends. It needs the driver's side arch. It needs the passenger side rear arch, and then a few holes underneath it. It's fucked, like, but. Had it been anything else, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't go to these depths, and I wouldn't do it now because I've got so much other stuff I want to do, you know, in the workshop.
But that, you can't ignore that.
It's one of those things. It came up, I had to buy it. What am I going to do? Let someone else buy it? I just can't do it, you know. And it took a lot of money out of my pots. $2,000 is a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
Took that money out of my pot, so which I would have used to spend on other projects and other cars and stuff that were going on. So I've now just got to crack on with this van and save up some more money, really. But I'm just so happy about doing it. I can't wait. I've already bought loads of bits for it. Bought new headlights. Bought some panels. It
doesn't feel like there were many of those made because you don't see them, do you?
I think they just rotted away. And you know, on paper, shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're 1 litre petrol.
Why would you?
Yeah. It's 60 mile an hour tops. Like they are just a brick on wheels. Like, but they've just got personality. They've just got incredible personality, you know, compared to any of the other little vans out there. And so the plan is to first video, I'm going to get stuck into it. I'm going to clean it as much as I can, try and get it back to sort of a blank canvas a little bit, and then try and get it welded up and running and driving in the first video. So I'm going to do as much welding as I can, and then maybe just the front arch to start with because it's got the fuel tank out of it at the moment, and you can't put the fuel tank back in until that arch is done.
Okay.
So that might be the first video where I weld all that up, put the fuel tank in, and then it's back to running and driving how I left it, but with a bit of the welding done. And next video will be finishing the welding off, doing a bit of body work, and then probably another video after that, which will be a full respray, and it's going to have all the Tasty Classics stickers all over it, all the livery Tasty Classics diamond logo all over the side of it.
Awesome.
So dead excited for that, and I'll just keep it forever then. I think it's a handy thing because I've not got a van. I need a van.
Yeah, that'd be really good.
You know, taking wheels down to get tyres and stuff.
Yeah, that's superb.
Sorry if that was a spoiler to anybody waiting to watch that as well, but I just
I think it's great.
It's going to be a few weeks until that video comes out because there's lots of work.
Yeah.
But I cannot wait.
How's your tarmac?
I don't know yet. I only had it done on Thursday. I literally finished the video on Thursday, so I've not had a chance to enjoy it. But from what I have been on there, just moving cars around, because I've been going to Rustival and stuff, because I went down on Friday, it's game changer.
Yeah.
It's just massive life changer. Like there's just for my back mainly. Like my my starting.
Yes, that's right.
I can wheel it along the tarmac.
Yeah.
And just wheel it to the cars and stuff instead of carrying it.
Yeah.
And like when I pushed a car, because like before you couldn't really push a car on your own because you'd slip on the gravel and the mud,
Yeah.
and it was just every time you did it, it'd jar your back. It was horrible. And I pushed the car all the way from the top right to the bottom, but I can push the trailer with one hand because it's not getting stuck on stones and things. The trailer just moves like that,
Fantastic.
It's just a real game changer, and I'm just dead chuffed about. And the cars are staying cleaner already.
Of course they are.
Because it's not all shit's not getting blown up. It's just everything's better with tarmac. I think personally we should tarmac everything.
What, the countryside?
Yeah, all the countryside. We don't need all that because I know we get oxygen from trees and stuff, so we can tarmac the grass. Do you know what I mean? Tarmac all the verges, all the grass. Imagine, the motorways. You have those big verges covered in grass and trees. Tarmac them. Think of the extra lanes, and you could do like cool
Good for
moves.
skateboarders as well.
Skateboarders, everything. There is zero downsides. Zero down. Tarmac the world. That's what I say. Be my new slogan. Back of a hoodie. Tarmac the world.
On that note,
Yeah. Should we call it?
I think so. That was good fun.
Great fun. And yeah, so we're not doing another one next Sunday, no?
I'm in Scotland. I'm in the Outer Hebrides, not just Scotland.
Not the Inner Hebrides.
No. Well, there are
outer.
those.
Oh, are there?
Yeah,
Oh,
but it's not just
Ruins
going
it,
to
doesn't it?
Scotland. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's driving to Glasgow Airport and then flying to Benbecula
Wow.
on South Uist.
Could we do a Zoom one on the laptops?
Should we try that?
I don't know. It's possible, isn't it? I don't know how we probably could. You could just record the screen off a Zoom call.
Yeah, remote. Well, we could have a go at that.
That's weird, isn't it? I've seen other people do it on podcasts.
Yeah.
We could do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
Live from Glasgow Airport.
Nice. There's a fucking local bloke kicking a terrorist that's on fire. Weird.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
And he smashed through the front with a Jeep Cherokee as
Yeah.
well. Proper cool car
Yeah.
to do that in.
Yeah.
Jeep Cherokee, great. If you're going to smash through the front of an airport.
So when we were walking down here, Belle said, "Oh, that's quite nice. Mercedes G-Wagon."
Oh God, she's got the fever. Now that you're famous, now that you're a podcaster,
But that's not her style at all. I went,
we've
okay.
got I think it's like £7 or £8 or something in the YouTube in the YouTube payments thing, like because we've monetised a couple of months ago. Like, and now she's looking at G-Wagons, and she's only going to get £4 of that. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching, listening. If you enjoyed it, hit the subscribe button. That would really help. But you don't really need to now. Actually, don't bother. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. Thanks very much. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.